to Poisson because I had done something wrong.
Are you sure there isn't a little bit of truth in that? Under normal circumstances, shouldn't you have been called back to the city already?
I mean, where I work is really up to me. Let's just say I enjoy the ambiance of Poisson. Callis did a fantastic job running the town, building Spina di Rosula from the ground up and clearing many obstructions in my way. It would be next to impossible for me to find a similarly easy but high-paying job in the city. Anyway, enough chit-chat. Are these two friends of yours? You, here for some formal business?
Yes. These two are my partners. What happened at the Opera House made us realize that Linny's case and my father's may be related. We're trying to reinvestigate the details of my father's old case.
Ah, I get it. You think there might be more to the case now that we know people can be dissolved into water, right? I was also flabbergasted when I first heard of it. If you want to go through the original files from your father's case, I can help you look for them.
That'd be much appreciated. Thank you. Actually, I have another question. Do you have the authority to dispatch Gardamex?
Of course. Without them, I couldn't possibly handle Poisson on my own. Why do you ask? We definitely can't use them to forcefully get more evidence for your father's case.
Well, you see, just recently, we were attacked by a horde of unnumbered Gardamex in the city. So, if you hypothetically wanted to do something against me, all you would need to do is get rid of the mecha serial numbers and send them after me.
Then you think too highly of my abilities. Dispatching mecha is very different from controlling them. If I had to make an analogy, when you order a dish, the chef will make it for you. You can ask the chef to cook, but not to massage your shoulders or carry your baggage. If you try to make unreasonable demands, the chef would just think you're out of your mind and ignore you completely. The same goes for me and my Gardamex. Removing a serial number is also not as easy as you might think. There are a lot of complex steps to it, and it's almost impossible to keep it a secret. So I can promise you, those mecha were definitely private units. They're certainly not cheap. So, whoever their owner is must be super rich, powerful, or both. Now that you mention it, though, being in the synth business would definitely be profitable enough to afford this.
Oh, then you're officially in the clear, Thierry.
Oh, well, thank you for the vote of confidence, Navia. Jokes aside, I'd like to wish you all the best with your investigation. I'll be staying in the city for a little while, so just come find me if you need any support from the guards.
I will not go quietly. Hello. How may I help you? I'm here to see Marcel. Sure. I will...
Navia, hello. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm not as...
Oh, it's all... I just wanted to...
Yes!
Oh!
That's right. I went there with Navia to... I also witnessed to beat the Hydro...
Oh,
Apologies. It's just how Fontaine is.
Uncle Marcel...
Yes, I was reminded...
Exactly.
Oh, and...
We were attacked on Araneus by some unnumbered Gardamex. And there was also an attempt to get me to drink water from the primordial sea. If not for the vigilance of my partner, I probably wouldn't even be here talking to you right now.
Oh, you're giving us too much credit.
Alas, it seems things are heating up again. The peace, but rest assured, Navia, Poisson will always remain a safe haven for you. If you're scared, you can always return there. If anyone dares to lay their hands on you there, the Confrérie of Cabrières will use its funds to the last Mora to bring them to justice.
Thank you, Uncle Marcel. But I don't... Do you have any new thoughts on my father's...
About that. Sorry, my age is catching up with me. The Confrérie was responsible for that banquet, so I was out and about the whole time making sure things... Then I heard the sound of a gunshot, and the rest was history.
Oh, it's okay. No need to push yourself. We'll ask around some more. See if there are any valuable clues elsewhere.
Sounds good. Just let me know if you ever need Mora. All my wealth comes from Callus's patronage and support. I'll spend however much it takes to clear his name.
We've talked to all three suspects, purely based on their conversations with me.
None of them sounded particularly suspicious.
I suppose that's to be expected, though. If a single conversation's all that's needed to find them out, then my father wouldn't have needed to investigate the case for so many years. Anyway, even though we didn't make a breakthrough, let's still compile what we were able to find.
But where should we start? Ah, you're right! Flora mentioned that Callus probably only ended up with the gun because of circumstance. That makes sense.
According to Jacques' family members, he already told them that he had been discovered, and that he had no choice before he left home that day. If I had to guess, he probably received an order from the synth boss to kill my father. Had he refused, he and his family's lives would have been forfeit.
So, Jacques fired the first shot?
Oh? And why is that?
Ooh, that's a good point. Jacques probably already...
So, what would make more sense from his perspective would be to turn... Makes sense. But without evidence, that's... Besides Jacques, the attack from the Gardamex has been bothering me quite... It's obvious that our enemy has become more...
Do you think he knew, even then, that we'd follow this lead to the end?
Given everything that's happened since, it's quite possible. But who among the three suspects would have the ability to control privately owned Gardamex? Uncle Marcel? And with funds from the Confrérie, he could also afford a large... Still really hard for me to imagine. Also, wouldn't this mean he has been... Thierry, you say? But... I didn't...
Yeah. If the mecha were taken from the guards, it should be pretty easy to find out when and...
Florent? But... Spina di...
So you're saying he's...
Exactly. He can't. And it... Who could it be? You know, if you think everything through...
Could we be missing other suspects? Malus didn't know about the people turning...
Malus has always been very reliable, and his judgment of others' trustworthiness has been fair. The suspect is knowledgeable about the Spina's internal affairs, has the mean... Even if I don't want to believe it, I'm starting to see how...
Well, we still have another trump card on top of all the theorizing and speculating.
Yes. Malus did say that charging straight in there would be extremely risky. We need far more solid proof before we can hope to go charging in on our enemy.
Navia, here you are.
Huh? Aren't you the guy from the...
Yeah. News came from Irenaeus just after you left.
Wasn't that place built specific?
I know. But they said the person they're putting on trial is a Fatui harbinger called Tartaglia.
What? Is that someone you...
Yeah, we know him.
Well, he's been accused of being the true culprit behind this.
Wait, how? None of our investigation...
That's what I thought was strange about it. So, if the charge against him stands, then it'll be next to impossible to get the guards to support any of our planned investigations.
Right. Because they'll think they've...
Yeah. And it'll be a lot harder then to clear Mr. Callus's name.
I understand. Huh? Split up? What do you mean? Since this... You're right. I won't have any chance of making that charge stick, though, unless we find more evidence.
We'll help you.
Demoiselle, please allow us to accompany you.
I'm ready.
Malou, Silver, when did you two get here?
We heard that you'll be leaving Poisson and figured that you might require our assistance. It's our hope that your confidence will be bolstered with the two of us by your side.
Thank you so much. Then, let's make haste for Irenaeus. Paimon, Traveler, I'll see you at the Opera House.
See you then. Now that Navia has set out for Irenaeus, we should also get going. The location has already been marked on the map, so let's head over. According to Malusa's info, the synth production base is underwater. Let's go and try to find the entrance. So this is the entrance that leads to the synth production base. It sure doesn't seem out of the ordinary at all. You're right. An important place like this is bound to have a ton of protective measures and mechanisms. Navia's probably arguing up a storm right now to stall for us.
It would appear that I must repeat my question again, Mr. Tartaglia. Do you accept the charge that you are the true culprit behind the serial disappearances case?
To be perfectly honest, I don't understand your country's complicated court system, or the reason why I'm being charged with something I've never even heard of. However, I did hear that people who have been charged can choose to participate in a duel to clear their name. Is that right? In which case, as long as I accept the charge, I can have an all-out fight with that champion duelist Clorend, right? I've got to admit, that's one of the most enticing offers I've ever received. When I privately sparred with her last time, she was obviously holding back. Real disappointing.
Hey! Don't you understand? You're currently the prime suspect for a major case. This isn't the place for you to be looking for fights.
Oh? Sounds like the Hydro Archon wants to lecture me on the ways of the Opera House. Then why don't you duel me too? I'm the kind of student that learns best in the heat of battle.
No. That's not what I meant.
Alas, it would appear that communication with the defendant is going poorly, and we have made very little progress. In that case, let me explain everything from the very beginning again. The goal of this trial is to determine the culprit behind the serial disappearances case.
That case had nothing to do with him! You've got the wrong man!
Huh? What's going on? Why is she interjecting again?
I told you it couldn't be one of the Fatui harbingers.
Miss Navia, this is the second time you've interrupted the court proceedings. I only tolerated your behavior last time because you were able to provide the court with a key eyewitness. But that was an exception rather than standard court protocol. I can very well charge you with contempt of court for your interjections.
Oh, please. Did you ever think I had any respect for this place's pointless theatrics? We can put that discussion aside for now. I'm not here to argue with you. I'm here to charge the true culprit behind the serial disappearances case. And if my charges prove true, then Tartaglia here will be proven innocent by default, correct?
Oh, a young lady has charged in and offered to clear my name. How fascinating. Well, I'd gotten half bored to death by all these rules and procedures anyway, so I'll take you up on that offer. So, Your Honor, is there nothing else for me to do now?
You may take a seat for now in the audience, but that doesn't mean the suspicions against you have been lifted. Now then, Miss Navia, who is the person you would like to charge instead?
That person is... Marcel, the head of Confrérie of Cabrières!
Huh? What confrérie? Never heard of them in my life.
I've heard of them, but weren't they Spina di Rosula's sister organization?
Oh, is this going to be a friends to enemies type situation?
Please let me remind you, Miss Navia, that charging someone is an incredibly serious matter. Committing to the charge also means taking on the legal responsibilities associated with it. And if the charge fails, depending on the circumstances, you may also be charged with the crime of making a false accusation. Knowing this, do you still wish to charge this man?
Yes, I do.
In that case, I declare the charge to be valid. Miss Navia and attorneys, please take your places on the court. Members of the guards, please contact Mr. Marcel right away so that he may stand trial. Mr. Marcel, you will not require an attorney. Is that correct?
Apologies. It all just happened so quickly. I still haven't figured out what's going on. I think an attorney won't be necessary. This is probably just a misunderstanding between me and Navia.
Very well. In that case, since both sides have now arrived, Miss Navia, please present your charges.
I would like to take everyone back to 3 years ago, to the case of Callus the Unfaithful. Only through elucidating what really happened in that case can we connect all the dots for the serial disappearances case.
Navia, do you really think that I was the one who killed your father? Come on, why would I do that? Callus was my benefactor, and remember both you and I only ran to the scene when we heard the sound of a gun. If that's enough to make me a suspect, wouldn't that make everyone at that banquet a suspect as well?
I think there's no point in getting into the specifics right now. The audience doesn't even have the big picture yet. Even I'm struggling to remember some details of that case.
Exactly correct, Your Honor. I must refresh everyone's memory about that case before I can explain my charge and reasoning.
I see. In which case, I will recount the findings about that case as originally recorded by Maison Gardiennage. On the day of the murder, Spina di Rosula hosted a large banquet in a countryside estate owned by the Confrérie of Cabrières. During the banquet, all attending guests heard 2 gunshots from the courtyard. When the guests arrived at the scene, they found the primary suspect, Callus, holding a gun, while the guards' investigation did not recover any other firearms from the scene. As a result, they concluded that the suspect's first shot must have missed, while the second must have taken Jacques. The suspect did not dispute this conclusion, and also declined to defend himself in court. Callus was defeated by champion duelist Clarant. These are the known facts.
The one with the motive to kill was Jacques, not my father. In truth, the after that, the true culprit. Thank you for the summary. However, we should revisit the case now that. This assassin. The testimony of the victim's family confirms that Jacques, however, in the end, unfortunately for a pile of clothing was found at the scene. The guards once believed they were used by Jacques, but now it is clear that the clothes were since it was raining that day. Realizing this, the true culprit caused the hired assassin to dissolve into water, leading everyone to believe Callus was responsible for Jacques' murder. This...
So that's what happened. Wait, you're telling me something as dangerous as water from the primordial sea has been used for all these years?
What a great theory. It also explains Callus's and Jacques' respect.
Mr. Marcel, you are the one being charged with the crime.
But I think I agree with everything Navia just said.
Then, may I ask some questions? 1. Do you have the evidence to back up your claims?
I'm afraid not. At least not at this very moment.
Boo! If you don't have any evidence, you should just go home!
I may not have the evidence with me, but I know where I could go to collect it. We should be able to find a match. Considering the serial disappearances case, the guards probably kept careful records of all missing persons from around that time.
That makes sense to me. Monsieur...
Why do I feel like...
Maybe she's scared of embarrassing herself again?
Alternatively, she's become more diligent after charging an innocent citizen in the last trial.
My second question has to do with the ensuing duel. If the truth is indeed as you described, then why didn't Mr. Callus explain himself in court? If he had testified that a person had been dissolved, he could have at least mounted a defense.
I've thought about this too, and the answer is actually pretty simple. He felt there were things that were more important to him. The dissolving power of water from the primordial sea is an important secret for the true culprit of the serial disappearances case. My father could have exposed it for all to see, but he chose to take it to the grave. At that time, Spina di Rosula was in dire straits, and his reputation had already been shattered. He had no guarantee that going forward with the truth would allow the culprit to be brought to justice. What was certain, however, was that it would paint a gigantic target on my back.
Boss once told me that Demoiselle had already been selected as the next target of the serial disappearances case.
What?
If the secret had gotten out, the culprit would have fought an all-out war with Espina right there and then. I wouldn't have been the only one in danger. All of us would have stood to lose our lives. Of course, the guards might eventually figure out the truth of the matter and determine that we were in the right. But what good would that do? How can a hollow verdict protect anyone? Had this opera house ever given my father any kind of confidence in its brand of justice, Spina di Rosula would have had no reason to exist. But by staying silent, we retained the ability to deter our opponents and continue the stalemate. I was able to become Spina di Rosula's president, which made me harder to target, as well as giving me more time to grow and learn. And once I have figured out the truth and stepped up to the challenge, I will do what this opera house cannot and restore my father's truth and honor back to him.
So, you mean to say, your father intended to die in the duelist's ring?
That's right.
Do you have any proof?
Of course. All you need is to ask his opponent, Clarand. I don't need your apology, your guilt, or your support from the shadows. You don't have to do anything for my sake. But since he entrusted his will to you, Clarand, you should tell us the truth about his sacrifice.
So, during the duel, did you believe that Callus was intending to die?
Yes, I did. As a champion duelist, I've fought many battles and taken a countless number of dishonored lives. In my line of work, I've seen all kinds of people give their all for the faintest hope to continue living. Some were determined, others passionate, and some even manic and twisted. Just one look and I can tell if a duelist is hoping to live or if they're looking to die. I hereby swear on my name and honor as a champion duelist that Mr. Callus never intended to leave the ring alive.
Since that's your testimony, I have no more questions. It appears there really are good grounds to reopen this case.
I concur. However, Miss Navia, you still have not explained the link between your father's case and the serial disappearances case.
Right? What she said was fascinating, but kind of beside the point.
Wait, weren't they just talking about the serial disappearances case?
Of course, Your Honor. The two cases are connected via a matter of timing. In my father's case, the culprit intended to kill both Jacques and Callus. As a result, they planned to act after hearing 2 gunshots. And at the end of Linny's trial, the culprit also only dissolved the victim in front of everyone because they realized they were at risk of being identified. The culprit could only time their actions so precisely if they were already at the scene. Coincidentally, Marcel attended both the banquet and the trial.
So that's why you suspected me. Even after hearing your reasoning, I'm used to it, though. You've always been an impulsive and sentimental child.
No need to appeal to pathos.
I won't try to refute your points one by one, but even if everything you just said was true, can you prove that I was the only person present at both events? On top of that, does a person have to be physically present to control the timing? Can't someone remotely monitor the place?
Know what she can say to that.
I know that even with that, you might still think you can reduce the list of suspects with some further investigations until I'm the only one left on the list. Alas, who won't feel at least a little hurt by an accusation of murder from a girl you see? But if I were to dismiss this completely, do you know what the biggest flaw in—
I suppose you're—
It's timing again. I'm a businessman by trade. From that, in addition, I left my home in Snezhnaya, but the disappearances began before—
I do apologize, demoiselle. This was my mistake.
No, it's not your fault. I'm sure he had come prepared.
Is there anything else you'd like to say? Would you like to check the date of my first business license against the first known case of the serial disappearances? You can also take a look at my border entry records, or ask my friends and family when I left Snezhnaya for the first time. Could those records and testimonies do something to appease the unspeakable anguish in your heart?
Seems like she got the wrong guy.
At this rate, Navia will be convicted for false—
I think you've done a superb job of dissecting your father's feelings, but aren't you going against all of his wishes? He wished for you to become more rational once you've learned to be more considerate of others' feelings and to stop rushing headlong into things.
This isn't just about me, and it never has. The biggest difference between me and the rest of the victims is that I still have the ability to search for the people whose families were destroyed by synth abuse. Many people's images are flashing before my eyes. I'm sure some are coming to those of you in the audience as well. And whose image do you see, Marcel? Is it a man named Vacher? Oh, so you do know that name.
I'm merely surprised you'd suddenly say the name of someone I've never even heard of.
I was waiting for you to say that.
With sword comes shadow. Whoa! The floor is going up! Is it because of this mechanism in the middle? That guy really prepared a lot of stuff for this place. Go up, but Paimon doesn't see a way. Let's take a look around. Maybe we'll find a hidden mechanism that'll show us the way up. The water level is rising! Now we can swim to the top! But this is still a ways away from where we need to go.
Go and fly! Wind, hear me!
Out of the frying pan, it's...
Rain, out! Find your fate! Rain cutter!
Don't blink! Nowhere to hide. Incoming. Hey! Booba, get them! Go as one! Hey, yeah!
Barbados, guide us.
Speed of light! With sword comes shadow. Now the path is clear! Let's go!
Body and mind. Rain outlines your fate. Witness, I let my guard down.
Nice and spicy!
I swear by my sword.
Nowhere to hide. Don't blink! Incoming! Cut to the chase! You're toast! Bubba, get them!
No, my sword.
Don't blink! After all, though, as expected, that... What's all the pink accessories, a hair tie, a necklace, even a makeup box? Oh, Paimon sees it too, but... Huh? You mean the girls from... And all the boxes of things. These names... looking basin over here, and it's full of... That means this is where they make all this... If you dilute Paimon will... Let's see what's... Callus. Navia's father. Oh, this ain't... This should prove the existence of the third person, right? We still... The old dog, he can act... I concur. Let's send... Oh, seems like we've got a bunch of correspondence between the higher-ups. What's this over here? Looks like some kind of experiment. The experiment was a failure. No individual managed to resurface from the water from the primordial sea. Sorry, Traveler. Paimon will try her best. How can someone write something that terrible? You read the rest. Paimon's too scared to keep going. So, wait, did he really think he'd be able to find a way just by dissolving people over and over? That's just insane! Huh? Isn't that the name you heard by the fountain? Paimon thought he was an eyewitness in the serial disappearances case. You mean Vache is the one who did all of these... experiments? So that's it? No, that's not it either! If that's... and then... Whoa! There's so much synth here! And so many bottles of ingredients that probably just contain... Mixing in progress... Ready to drink? Stock sample? Whoa! There's even fruit-flavored synth? Yep! We've looked at almost every... Yeah! We haven't found anything that... No wonder even Nervalet went that way, even if we bring all this back to the op... Sure thing! You take that side! Ugh. Nothing at all! And Paimon can't even find snacks either! Whoa, really? Let Paimon see! Vinier. Isn't that Vache's Then... Aw... So many! Oh, the final name she did... Marcel! Wait, but... Marcel's pretty old. Has this case been going on for so long that he's Vache and Vinier's Hey!
And whose image do you see, Marcel? Is it a man named Vache? Oh, so you...
I've merely surprised.
I was...
Navia! We're back!
as expected of my partner.
Just how often do you intend to...
It's all right, Monsieur Nervalet. Given their confidence...
But the truth of it, Marcel, is that you...
Huh?
We've investigated your lair, and after your lover, Vinier, was dissolved, you kept abducting... You even created Marcel as a new...
So that's it. Even the villains and with that,
This information regarding your past... Well, Marcel... You fixated your gaze on the lover that so you never noted...
You also never understood Boss's real expectations for his daughter.
Or our determination to see things through.
Your determination.
Mr. Marcel, please speak up now if you would like to defend yourself. Otherwise, the trial will move on to the next stage.
Do you think... Pay attention to you? What for? No one helped me. No one even believed me. All those decades, they said there's well, now you know, don't you? Ha! You only have yourselves to blame. Vinier is dead. We promised each other that we would always be together. Wherever she... But I'm not from this blasted place.
water from the primordial sea that he's drinking?
I can't dissolve! Do you all see? I did all of that. And in the I spent my entire...
The suspect is exhibiting signs of
Don't touch me! Don't anybody come in here, please!
At this point, the verdict of this trial is...
Fine by me.
Traveler, please submit... The man now known as Marcel was originally named Vacher and worked as an adventurer with his partner, and during an underwater expedition, Vignier accidentally came into contact with water from the primordial sea and was dissolved in... Vacher learned of the primordial water's existence through the work of others and began to kidnap young women. To cover his tracks, he invented the new alien. During the course of his research, Vacher discovered that a diluted concoction of water... However, as he accumulated wealth to fund his... After exchanging blows with Spina Duras, although the assassination... And just recently. However, his attempt to frame Lin... Thus concludes the... The Oratrice will now deliver the... According to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale, Mr. Vacher is guilty.
Guards! Take Vacher away.
Good. It's what he deserves.
With that, the serial disappearances case is over now.
We really just witnessed history. Who would have thought the true culprit would be such a polite and well-spoken guy?
Yippee! We helped Navia bring the bad guy! He's heard Huh? Are you?
Demoiselle, you were...
The day our late boss had...
Yeah.
Well now, hasn't this been a most delicious piece of drama? The villain has been caught, justice has been served. Since it's been such a great show, I'll just let the false accusations against me slide. Either way...
Please wait just one moment, Mr. Tartaglia.
What?
According to...
Oh, come on.
Please respect the law.
All right, all right.
Through evidence presented in the public trial that was just held, the guilty party has been identified. We now turn to the Oratrice Mécanique de... According to the judgment of the Oratrice, guilty.
What?
Hey, hey! That's not funny! What's with this verdict?
Huh? This has never happened before.
I mean, have you ever heard of an innocent Fatui Harbinger?
But weren't the charges about the serial disappearances case?
The judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse. Guards, please...
So this is how justice is done in Fontaine. What a joke. You've got your rules. Well, I've got mine too!
I am sorry. If you have been wronged, we will find the truth. But the rules of the court must be upheld.
Hey, Monsieur Novelette, what's going on?
Apologies. This is also the first time I've encountered... All I do is follow court procedure. As for why the Oratrice arrived at the conclusion it did, you should probably ask someone more knowledgeable than me.
What does Lady Verena mean by that?
She says...
Yeah, so...
Why? Don't tell me.
But the way she looked just now.
However, and if you thought child had nothing to now, having said that.
So she.
So you're.
She probably. However, please.
All right. After all.
Hey, what are you doing? Quick, stop him!
Traveler! Hey! Traveler!
Marcel! What are you...
Stop resisting arrest!
No, wait! I just want to ask the Traveler something. I'm not looking to run away. Please, just let me ask this one small thing.
Go on.
Thank you. I was being led away when I finally realized something. Where did you first hear the name Vacher? I erased all records of that name. So, unless...
Are you still trying to prove your innocence? Give it up. You've already been convicted.
Really? You did? You're sure? You met her? But how could that be? How did you manage to do it? The Fountain of Lucine? Then she's been so close to me all along. And I just never... Please give me a chance to talk to her again. Just let the Traveler take me to the fountain to see her one last time. This is the last request I'll ever make in my life. You can do whatever you want to me afterwards. I don't care.
What? Give an inch and you want to take a mile? Do you think serial killers get to make requests like that?
Paimon agrees. Why should we give him what he wants when he's only done a ton of super terrible things?
This request, is it worth as much to you as your life?
Of course! Wait, no. It's worth even more than my life.
Humans. Will they betray the instinct to live just to satisfy spiritual needs? Very well. I will grant your request.
Your Honor, I fear that...
I will go with him. You do not need to worry about any escape.
In that case, I shall leave him in your most capable hands, Chief Justice.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Seems like the stories here never have a